Hi everyone, this is Selena Kraus and welcome to another card video. In this video, I'm featuring Gina K Designs stamps, and this video is part of a block hop, Crafty Friends block hop that we have every month, and every month we feature a different company. So for the month of February, we have Gina K Designs. As well, in the description below, you will find a code for 20% discount for Gina K for February 20th and 21st. So let's get started. I'm making few cards today, and for my cards, I'm using the layered Daisies stamp set along with the Have Faith. Also, I'm using several of the Gina K dye base ink pads. So both of these sets that I'm using are 6x8. So there are a lot of images and a lot of sentiments. I like the large size of the sentiments. So I'm using one sentiment as a focal point of my card. So I'm going to stamp it in the middle of my white panel. It measures 4 by 5.25. It's a little bit smaller than A2. And I'm using the Gina K Amalgam Obsidian black ink. I'm stamping twice using my MISTI to have nice coverage. And I did this 2 more times, so I have 3 panels. I'll stamp a bunch of the flowers since I'll have everything layered in my MISTI. So it's very easy for mass producing and for layering for layered stamps. So there are 3 flowers. I'm gonna stamp all 3 at once because I'll be using one color. I'll be using actually 2 colors, but 1 color at a time. So I'm positioning those in my MISTI. I'm using some white cardstock to stamp on. So making sure that that panel is nice and snug into the corner. I'm using sweet mango to stamp the daisies. So we have the first one. I'm gonna go one more time to make sure we have a solid image and nice ink coverage. So I'm gonna stamp a bunch of those, and then after we're done with the sweet mango, I will use innocent pink to have a little bit more variety of the flowers. You can use any colors you like and as many as you like. I just decided to go with pink and orange. But you can use darker pink, red, yellow, blue, teal. It's your choices, however you like your cards to look. So here's my innocent pink ink, and I'll stamp 3 of those with that lighter pink ink. So we have 2, and I'm gonna repeat here and put that first panel that I stamped back in to stamp one more time. And since I'm stamping with the MISTI, I know that those will always be on the same spot, so putting that panel back into the MISTI didn't ruin my image, and everything was lined up perfectly. So we're done with the first layer. Next we're going to move with the second layer. So I'm just going to put one of the stamp pieces, and I'll position the second step stamps one by one, and I'll pick each one at one time with the door of the MISTI. And then I'm using, I'll stamp to make sure that they're lined up properly. So I'm doing the last one, and here it's a little bit offset, so I'm just going to go back again, reposition that stamp, pick it up with the door of the MISTI, and do a trial stamp to see if everything's fine. So that looks fine, and I'm using with I'm going with dusty pink ink to stamp that second layer. Then I'm doing it twice again, and then I'll do the rest. So then we have one more pink, and then we're gonna move to the orange. For the orange, for the second step, I'll be using the tomato soup ink. So I'll just ink that's like kind of darker red orange, so it looked pretty nice when those 2 colors were layered together. So I've stamped all the second steps, and now I'll stamp the centers of the flowers. We have only for the 2 flowers. I'm going with charcoal brown ink. Just position those, pick them up with the door of the MISTI and stamped, and that looked fine. So I'm just gonna go ahead and stamp all of those flower centers. So we have a few more left here. As you notice, I put few pieces of paper at a time in my MISTI. This kind of makes it a little bit faster and doesn't interfere with the stamping at all. Even though the layers we have a little bit thicker than one piece of paper, but it just works fine. So next we're gonna stamp the leaves. So for that last flower, we have like the die comes for the leaf and stem together. So what I did is I die cut it a negative out of paper, and then using that negative and positioning the stem, so when we go ahead and die cut it, everything is lined up properly. So next I'm going with ripe avocado, or was it asparagus? I'll have all the colors listed in this post so you can see all the colors that I'm using. So I'm using jelly bean green and ripe avocado, or maybe it was asparagus. As I said, I'll have everything listed below. So I'm just stamping all the layers, and then for the pink flowers I'm using the jelly bean green. So we have one more left. And next I'll do this one twice, and then there's one panel that I forgot to stamp with the darker green. So I'm just pulling the coordinating dies, and by magic of YouTube I have all those flowers and leaves die cut. So next is we have left just assembling. So I'm just gonna put on the top left corner and the bottom right corner kind of symmetrical image, kind of mirror image. I'm gonna use foam mounting tape or foam squares to adhere all the pieces together onto the panel. So first I'm just positioning to see if I like how it looks, and then I'll adhere together. As well, I'll do the same for the rest of the panels. I'll do 2 orange and 1 pink. I'm just pulling my foam squares here and adhering everything together. I'm starting with the larger flowers, and then I'll be building my not really scene, but my layered images. So that looks fine, and then we have a couple leaves and the smallest flower left. Again, I'm using that foam tape to adhere in the back, so we have a little bit more dimension to our card. So I'm using tiny foam squares for the leaves to add on the back of the leaves, so we have a little bit added dimension. So I'll just remove the backing and stick those to my panel. Okay, so we're done with that one. I'm here looking how it looks onto a white card base. So here all 3 done, and then I ended up having a bunch of some of the leftover flowers. So I'm just gonna do an extra kind of bonus card really quick, just arranging those to a 4 by 5 1/4 panel. I'll stamp a sentiment from the same stamp set saying "You're never alone." The previous sunset, the mountain. Like you have been assigned this mountain to show that it can be moved. So for this one, I'm just using "You're not alone" or "You're never alone." Again, I'm stamping it twice to have nice black coverage, like saturated black. And then using foam squares, I'll adhere all the flowers and leaves, like we did previously for the other 3 panels. So I'm just starting with the larger flower and then doing the smaller one. And then I'll add the leaves. So I have a little bit trouble with the positioning there. I didn't want how I want it to go and how much to stick out from the panel. So I'm doing the glass one. So here we have all those there. Next I have top folding black note cards. I'm gonna use some fun foam that I've already cut to size to adhere in the back of the stamp panels, and I'll adhere them to the folded black note cards. I'm using some liquid adhesive. It's a very strong liquid adhesive, so those will hold very nicely. And I'll do the same for all of the cards. And now to finish off the cards, I'm adding some jewels, some white and crystal jewels for a little bit extra sparkle. So I'll do the same on all of the cards, just adding a little bit of strong liquid adhesive and then adding the jewels right on top of that, the little dots of adhesive. So here's the first card, and the rest of the cards, they're all finished. So here's a little closer look. So thanks for watching, and don't forget to click on the subscribe button so you don't miss any other videos and more inspiration and more card making ideas. Also visit my blog for more inspiration and more ideas. Thanks for watching, and see you soon in another video. Bye!